Hello and welcome to this CADLink tutorial showing you some of the great effects that can be achieved with the wealth of plugins that are supplied with Synlab Print and Cut. Now in this session we're going to take a look at the tilt effect, and we're also going to take a look over some of the new lighting tools. For this example, my task is to create a banner for a photographic company. The customer has supplied me with the photographs they would like used in the design, and I have a layout on screen of how the finished sign could look. What I want to do next is use some of the simple to use design tools in Synlab to give this sign more depth and impact. Now to start with, let's take a look at the photograph. A decent picture is nothing without a complementing frame, so the first thing I'm going to do is frame it. There is a wealth of royalty-free photographic websites around these days, and they are a great place to find images that are perfect for improving your full colour designs. I have found this picture of a classic photo frame, and I'm now going to use it to enhance this wedding photo. Okay, so I can literally just drop my image on top of this and then size them up so that they suit each other. Okay, that looks pretty good. Right, to keep these two together, as I move them around the screen and edit them, I'm going to group them, and this is done by either going to the layout menu and selecting group, or a handy shortcut for this is to press and hold the Control and G key together. So with the images grouped as one, I can now drop them in place on the original background, and straight away the design looks better. Now to give the whole theme of this design much more depth, I'm going to use the tilt feature. The tilt feature in Synlab is a great way to add angles to your bitmap images, and it's also really simple to use. One of the great advantages of adding an angle to a photographic image such as this is that you can often take up less design space without dramatically reducing the size of your images. Take a look at the photo to see exactly what I mean. Now that I have added the gold frame to the photograph, the object actually takes up more room within the whole design of the sign, and you can see here it's actually covering part of my original text. The common remedy here would be to scale down the size of the photo or reduce the size of the text, but by using the tilt function this won't be necessary. With the image selected, I'm going to go to the image menu at the top of the Synlab screen and select the tilt effects plugin. Now, like all CADLink plugins, I must first choose how to apply the effect. For tilting an image, you will generally use the inside clipped option, and for the bitmap source I need to select use current fill, and this is so that the tilt gets applied directly to the image I selected in Synlab, in this example my photograph. I'm going to leave the image resolution on its default setting, and with that done I can now click OK. So this is the tilting plugin interface. From here it's simply a case of adjusting the properties to get the desired effect. For this example I'm going to tilt the image to the right. Okay, that should do fine. And then what about tilting the whole image up slightly? Okay, that works well. I'm pretty happy with this. Now you'll notice that the tilted image has a black background. We can remove this back in Synlab using the transparent color tool, and you can often get a much better result by changing the background to a color that's not going to be present in the rest of the design. To do this, I simply need to click on the background color tab here and then choose a replacement. Okay, this color should work fine for this example. So with this done, I'm going to click on OK, and this will return my image to the main Synlab interface. Okay, so now to remove this background color. This is really straightforward using Synlab's transparent color tool. The first thing I need to do is double click on the image itself, and this will reveal Synlab's bitmap editing tools in the smart bar at the top of the screen. From this toolset I'm going to select the eyedropper tool, and this basically allows me to identify specific colors within my design. When I click on the colored background part of my image, Synlab will then display the exact RGB value of this colour. All I need to do is select Add, and this becomes my new transparent colour, indicated at the top here. By clicking the transparent colour tool, the background around the frame is then discarded altogether, and we are left with just the original image with its tilt applied. It's now clearer to see why it was necessary to change the colour of the background in the first place. The transparent colour function works by removing all colours that match the original colour we just selected with the eyedropper tool. If the background had been left as black, then we may have ended up with elements of the actual image being discarded at the same time. So choosing a lesser used tone ensures that only the background will be discarded and the original image will be preserved. Okay, now that the image has the tilt applied, it's clearer to see how the object has actually taken up less space without lessening the impact of the design. As you can see here, the photo frame no longer covers the edge of my text. Okay, so that's the tilting effect. Next here I'm going to use one of the lighting effects in Synlab to highlight a specific area of the design. To start with, I'm going to move these text objects out of the way for the minute so that we can concentrate on the rest of the design. Okay, that's fine. Now with those out of the way, I can drag a marquee box around my objects, and then I am going to group them together. With the objects grouped, I can then return to the image menu, but this time I'm going to select the Light Effects plugin. Now pretty much the same conditions apply here. I will use the Inside Clipped option and the Use Current Fill option. And then we move on to the Light Effects interface. I can choose to enable up to 6 individual spotlights. And I do this by clicking on these boxes down the left hand side to enable or disable them. To adjust the properties of the individual spots, I must highlight each one in turn. So for example, if I select spotlight number 4 like this, any properties I adjust will only affect this spotlight and none of the others. For this example, I'm going to keep it pretty simple, and we're just going to add one spotlight. With my selection made, I can start to adjust the properties. Now I can alter the position of the spotlight by using these sliders here. But I can also just click on the part of the image I would like to highlight, and the spotlight will automatically move to that location. I'm going to click on the center of the frame as my main area to be lit up. Okay, there, that should do fine, and I can now adjust the properties to gain the kind of effect I am after. At the moment the spotlight is round, but if I needed to, I could turn this to more of an elliptical shape. Once I've done this, I could also simply add any angle to the light. This is a good setting to use for creating multiple light effects, and you can use it to make your light source come from several locations. For this image I'm going to stick to a round spotlight, so all I need to do to finish off here is adjust the intensity of the light, and this is achieved using a combination of the brightness and the light size. Okay, just some final adjustments here. And that should just about do it. Okay, I'm pretty much got the look I'm after. So I'm going to click on OK. And again, I'm returned to the main Synlab screen and the effect is applied. The whole design is now starting to look really good. And to finish it off, I'm going to introduce another photographic image. It's another one I got from a stock library. Now, as I place it on the sign, you will see straight away how it looks out of place. To change this, I'm going to use the spotlight effect to make it blend in. With just the image selected, I'm once again going to go to the image menu and select the light effect plugin. This time with the lighting effect, I'm going to center the spot and then reduce the brightness so that the edges basically fade out to nothing, so we get a nice blending effect. Okay, that should do fine. I can now click OK. Back in Synlab, you can see the image has a nice soft effect within the sign, and this makes it blend in really well. The last task here is to drop my text back on top. And there we have it, the sign is now ready for production. The image tilt and lighting effects are just two of a range of fantastic plugins that will enhance any sign. Have a go for yourself and check out other tutorials on plugins and other features of SignLab on InfoSource, our dedicated online support and training facility.